Hey, welcome to Too Many Gadgets. So it's summertime, the heat is on, and those of you who may be looking for cooling solutions, this is the Xiaomi Mi Fan Standing Pro nonetheless. I live in Denmark and we've already seen temperatures well above 30 degrees, which is a lot for us, and something that can really, for some of us, be difficult to get a good night's sleep if it's too hot during the nighttime. So I've actually for many years had a fan in my bedroom to use during those nights if it's too hot outside. And again, it's hard to keep the house cooled down properly. So I've had a 1S fan that unfortunately broke. So it's a good timing that Xiaomi reached out to me and had the opportunity to test this fan. So I've done so for the last 6 months, and yeah, it's been great to have it. So just a little bit of a talk. I mean, you can find fans in pretty much every price point, but the cheap ones are often fairly loud, so that can be difficult. Again, they have a cooling for you, but you will hear the noise, and that can be very annoying for some. So then you can spend more money to buy, for instance, a Dyson, which can cost you way above $400 to $500 for the top model. This is somewhat cheaper from Xiaomi as always, so definitely something that might be attractive for some of you that, like me, are looking to have something that can cool perhaps in the bedroom, but also something that you can take outside if you need to, on the terrace or whatever you may where you want to have it, because it has a battery. Let's talk about the specifications while I unbox this thing. So this is a fairly light fan weighing only 3.2 kilograms. It is 95 centimeters tall and the noise level is rated down to 26 decibels. It charges wirelessly and you can connect it to Wi-Fi and control it using an app, Mi Home, or the Google or Alexa ecosystems. It has a 2800 milliamp battery, and that will bring you up to 20 hours of usage. Power consumption is very low, even down to 1 kilowatt per 500 of hours of usage. This thing is fairly easy to assemble. You should expect to be using about 5 minutes to get it all done. You first need to sort of put the back plate on the motor unit. Make sure that is then sitting nice and tight. Then we sort of put the fans down. And again, secure that. We'll then close it off with the front section. And then just lock it into place with a single screw. Now we need to attach the sort of base plate which has the battery. And then again secure that with a screw. So we need to go into the Mi Home app from Xiaomi to set up this device. Go to the air treatment section and find the device. We need to hold 2 buttons on the device to make sure that it exposes a temporary Wi-Fi point. Within the app, we then select which Wi-Fi point in your house that you want it to use. Find the temporary Wi-Fi point, and then that will sort of combine the two networks. Once that's done, we can give it a name and select which room within the Xiaomi app you want it to be in. Those rooms can be named by yourself. Now let's have a look at the buttons, which are more plentiful than the other devices that we've seen, which only had 2. So of course you have the power button, and just on top of that we can change the speed directly, and we can see using the 4 indicators which speed we are running at. To turn on oscillation, we hit the buttons with the 2 arrows. And again, to stop that, we just press it one more time. The top button controls a timer, and depending on how many times we push it, as you can see by the indicators, we can sort of define for how many hours or minutes you want to run before automatically turning on. If you hold down the second button, you can change it between the natural wind mode and just a fixed wind speed. And again, this is shown also on by the indicators just next to the Wi-Fi, which mode you are running in. One of the key improvements on this device compared to some of the other older models from Xiaomi is how it's charged. They are using this small wireless solution that makes it easily to plug it in and also to take it with you without actually having to put the cord directly into the base unit where the battery is. So this is a really nice improvement from Xiaomi side, and also the addition of a small LED lamp in the base unit to let you know if it's getting soon to when it needs to be charged, which is something that you couldn't see on the older models. So one of the things that Xiaomi sort of brought to the feature list when they introduced their first fans were this so-called natural wind mode. And I remember when I heard about it, I kind of laughed because it really sounded something like, you know, a marketing department had come up with that didn't have any real effect. Because I mean, how can you sort of create better wind with a fan than others, you know? But when I bought my first one, I bought it really more for the battery, and then when I had it, I tested this natural wind mode out. But it actually turned out that I really liked it. So the way I can best describe it is that instead of going at a constant speed, it sort of goes up and down. You can still sort of define how the max speed should be, but it then alternates between a high speed and then a lower speed. And this is what they call the natural wind mode. And so it has many advantages. So again, the constant speed are more noisy than, of course, the lower speed. So this is one of the benefits, but it just feels nicer. Again, it's kind of hard to describe, and some of you may be again also laughing, which is cool, because again, I really thought also that it was bullshit when I first heard about it, but it is something that's actually kind of nice and something that I hadn't seen on other fans. So yeah, you know, laugh or not, but try it out, and you you may, like me, never want to go back. Let me show you how you control it using the app, and also a few key settings that I recommend that you change for it not to be annoying when you use it during nighttime, and also have a little bit of introduction to how you can use it, control it using Google Home or Amazon Alexa. So the first thing you want to do is to go in and turn off a couple of things so it doesn't annoy you during nighttime. So first of all, turn off the indicator so you don't have a bright shining LED lamp during nighttime, and also turn off the notification sound so it doesn't make a beep every time you press a button. With that out of the way, we have the option here to control directly which mode it's running in, directly or natural breeze. We can sort of define the fan speed, again, more precisely than just the physical buttons on the device. And we can turn on and off the oscillation, and again, to which degree you want it to oscillate. We can actually also directly control to the left and to the right, as you are seeing here in the app. if you have turned off oscillation. We have the option to have a delayed turn off. Again, it's especially useful during night times if you want it to fall asleep and not have it running the entire night. We can also add a manual schedule within the app, should you want to do that. And of course, make sure you have the latest firmware. So again, you can also use the automation system within the Xiaomi ecosystem should you have, let's say, either a button or something else you want to use to turn it on and off. Now let's have a look at what you can do from the Google ecosystem. Here you actually only have the option to turn it on and off. You can't define oscillation or at what speed it's running. Within Amazon Alexa, we are pretty much reduced to the same with somewhat more capabilities, but again, on and off is working. And we have the option to set 4 speeds, but not, again, some of the other options. So this is definitely a product I couldn't recommend. If we just briefly touch upon, I mentioned in the beginning of this video that I actually had one of the prior versions that I broke. So the way I broke it is that we used the option to move it around a lot. And we did, when we did so, we carried it around by just holding directly sort of on the top and then sort of lifting the unit back and forth. And in hindsight, that was not a good idea because that creates a lot of strain sort of on the top of the unit. What you should do instead is just hold down on the main sort of piece, metal piece that sort of connects the base to the top. Just hold in the middle of that, and then perhaps put your finger on top of the unit just to stabilize it when you move it around. But don't lift it directly by holding just beneath the top, because that will actually sort of put strain on the connecting piece of plastic that connects the main top to the rod. So that's just a tip from me to make sure that you can have many years of use with this device. So I do see this having had the One S as a major upgrade. Especially, again, like I mentioned, the charging solution is way more intelligent and makes it much easier to move it around. Also, the battery indicator is a really good help. Even though, you know, you have so many hours of use with this, you can easily, when they say 20 hours, I haven't tested it directly with the stopwatch, but I've definitely had it running for 10 hours plus on fairly high speed and with oscillation turned on without any problems whatsoever on battery. So they are not kidding when they say it can go for really a lot of hours on battery. So this is a big plus, and also the added extra physical buttons on the device is actually really helpful, because you had to go more into the app with the old one, where on this you don't really need the app unless you want to. You can really do pretty much every needed functions directly on the device, which is a big plus. And the little, again, extra feature of having, let's say, a sleep timer where you can define that you want it to run for 2 hours and then automatically turn off. I think that's really intelligent, because this is something, again, I myself find using during nighttime, where I perhaps want to use it just helping me fall asleep, but I don't necessarily want it to run the entire night, because it might create a draft for some. So really nice also to see the addition of that. What is the price then? Well, I found this device for $140 on AliExpress, not including shipping. So again, depending on where you live, that might change. This is something, you know, that's a little bit heavier than others. So yeah, you may want to just pay attention to how much the shipping will cost you. But again, really an attractive price, again, compared to how much you look at the competition, how much Dyson will set you back. So I could definitely see, you know, just spend your money on this and then perhaps buy 2 or 3 for the others, because in my house, at least, there's definitely a competition about, you know, who can have this at nighttime. So that's a good plus for that. It's an attractive unit and something that can help. If you have any questions, just leave a comment and I'll be happy to answer you. And else, I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.